Ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Leszek Drogosz. I am a Deputy Director of Infrastructure Department of Warsaw City Hall. And from the capital city of Poland, I am sending you all warm greetings. I'd like to start my presentation from the short introduction to the city of Warsaw itself. And our city area is more than 500 square kilometers. Population in Warsaw is close to 1.8 million inhabitants. And within the agglomeration, this is more than 3 million. And one of most important information is that the city of Warsaw has a lot of green areas. Our percentage, this is about 40% of green space. Bad information about city of Warsaw is that we have registered almost the same number cars like the number of inhabitants. So this is one of the most problematic aspects of the maintenance of all city infrastructure. And from the perspective of adaptation to climate change, we have to focus on the key climate risks. In the last two decades, Warsaw faced almost all important problems with climate change. We had droughts, weather, we had heat waves in a lot of years in our city history, and we had floods and floodings. We had storms, heavy storms and heavy winds. And so everything is because of the problem with the climate change. When we look at the problems with the risks assessment for the city area, we could say that almost 25% in the central part of the city area is under the high climate risk or extreme high climate risks. From this reason, it is necessary to think about what is the future of the city and what problems we could see in the next 10 or even 50 or more years in the future of our city. When we look for these problems from the point of view of heavy rains, we could see that we must be prepared for the really big problems with a lot of water in many areas of our city. And having this all into account, we decided to work with the adaptation strategy to climate change for the city of Warsaw. And last year, our city council adopted this. The strategy motto for our adaptation works. This is the Warsaw, a community acting responsibly in the face of climate change. One of the strategy most important priority is to prepare Warsaw to climate change, mainly by mitigating the effects and ensuring smooth functioning of the city with acceptable costs for economy, society and nature. When we think why adaptation strategy is good and necessary, we also include additional aspects. When we think about adaptation strategy, we must take into account that it would enhance the competitiveness of the city. This is also improves the quality of life and the healthcare. It helps create attractive and safe spaces, improves the level of environmental protection, and creates demand for modern technologies and jobs. And that all aspects are necessary to transfer to the plans for the investments, to the activities we are doing. One of that aspects is important for the implementation. This is to create better rainwater management. We take into account in this process from the one side infiltration, and we are preparing a lot of new investments in this area. We think about retention, and of course we are very involved in the process to enhance business, but also simple citizens to together work to collection and use rainwater. That kind of activities are necessary in all level of city works. And when we look from the more global perspective of our city activities, we are working with the large investments to protect the city from the large heavy rain problems. So we are very close to finishing the big investment to create retention tank at our wastewater treatment plant. The capacity of this is close to 80,000 cubic meters. And we are constructing and preparing to construction 3 lane tanks. All of them are very long, close to more than 15 kilometers length, and with very large diameters. Some of them are more than 3 meters. And this action reduced to minimum the number of the overflows from the combined system to the Vistula River when heavy rain occurs. And that kind of investment are necessary, but maybe that kind of investments are not stopping problem. This is kind of medicine for existing problems. When we look at that kind of investment, we see that is a huge area. This retention tank at our wastewater treatment plant, when you see the mayor of city of Warsaw and the president of the board of the water company, this area is like several football pitch. So this is a very big area and a lot of consumption of land. When we think about more efficient strategy to solve the problem, we have to think about smaller investments in the much bigger scale and to use nature-based solutions. Nature-based solutions can improve air quality. This could also have an impact, positive impact for the health benefits, and also from the economy point of view. This is important also from local benefits for climate change adaptation and regional global benefits for climate change mitigation. But small actions and investments based on the nature-based solution, this is something what we need also when we think about multiple stakeholders, because with this kind of strategy for the work and communication, we could involve a wide spectrum of stakeholders, and this is what we need to make extensive consultation of the processes. So from the point of view of nature-based solutions, we think that this is what we really need for the longer perspective. And we have some examples of that kind of model of work using this NBS thinking. For instance, we prepared for the revitalization, the big area, water area in the southern part of the city. We did processes for the restoration of the existing retention function of the pond. We create islands for the waterfalls. We created observation platforms. We even constructed small hydro power plant in this area, mainly for the education purposes. We have in the surrounding areas two new parks, and we also created educational path on adaptation to climate change for our citizens, older and even very young. When we think about some other examples of nature-based solutions, we, for instance, developing on the wide scale water bag systems. We use this for the newly planted trees, and that water bag system apply water close to the trunk, which works for a new or small tree. We are working together with our citizens, and we are collecting information in our city 19115 call center system about trees that need watering, and after that we answering with new installations like you see on this picture. And that water bags we are filling twice a week. Of course, we are also thinking about to deliver that kind of installations like drinking fountains for the city areas, but we starting from the areas of our schools in the city of Warsaw, and that drinking fountains, they are in the shape of old well constructed in the 18th century in the city of Warsaw, but also to the installation for the intaking the water for the tap water in the new processes we are establishing in the city of Warsaw. So this is not only something what we have to use the water, but this is also kind of symbolic shape. And when we are coming back to this nature-based solutions, we could also mention about Warsaw Catch Water project. This project is the idea to organize a lot of workshops with our young citizens and also families of them. They are working together, creating green and water-friendly places. We are designing and working to finalize creation of the rain gardens. Together with them, we are constructing small basins conducive to the retention. And what is important, when we have these young partners and we have the families of them to create this, to construct this, after that we could be sure that they will come back to this place and to have an eye, is this working okay? And also to understand deeper the processes and education. This is something what is working for a long time. So we hope that that Warsaw Catch Water project could create us awareness about the important subject like rainwater collection. And from this perspective, I'd like to mention that the work with citizens to show them that our water, this is really resource. This is nothing what we could use only for some simple purposes. This is our current times, this is the past, but this is also important our future. So we have to change model of thinking about how to use water in our city, and I hope that currently we are on the right way. So thank you very much for your attention, and I am waiting for your comments and questions. Ile wyszło?